Welcome traders to our end of week technical analysis video. Let's jump straight into things here. So as you know, this blue vertical line represents the last point in which we left off in our last technical analysis video. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be going over what we can see and what's happened since our last technical analysis. And we do this by grabbing our path. So as you can see where we last left off, we found price testing at around the 2625 level. Price then came up to test as a resistance on our 245 level and then dropped back down with a liquidation pull to 2614. We then saw price come back up to test our POI of 2640 and then we found a support at around 2635. Price then came up and started to stagger and then we had another test of this 2645 level. Price then came down, giving us a bearish flag on the lower time frames, which is this area here. Found support again just above our point of interest and then came up to test this previous resistance of around 2663. If you remember from our previous technical analysis videos, this 2663 level has had a major impact on the gold. It is a point in which the market likes to react off very heavily. And as you can see, we've had another successful test of this level as a resistance. Price then came down and tested and began to consolidate between the areas of 251 and 247. We had this consolidation for quite some time before price gave us a break and retest pattern on the previous resistances at the level of 2645. Price then broke up, tested as a resistance just below 2655, came back down to test the level of 2645 again, and then we had a higher high created with price almost touching 2670. Price then came back down to test previous resistance on the lower time frames as a support at 2651 marked in by our green box. Price then came up to test that level of 2663 again, the same level this area tested. And then we had another test of 2658 to 2655. Price then came up to 2666, came back down to 2663 as a support. We then saw a resistance found at our next major point of interest marked in with this black horizontal line of 2675. Price then came down, testing the 2663 level again, and then we sort of saw a consolidation pattern in here with price testing just below the level of 2670, sorry. Price found support, came back up, tested, and we finally got that break through the level of 2675. As you can see, we are currently looking at that. If I go ahead and grab our, if I go ahead and hide this for you, as you can see, this is what has happened. So as you can see, just from this path that we have marked in, price has been bullish significantly with some bearish retracements. Of course, you can never really have a bullish move without the bearish retracements and vice versa. But as you can see, we had these 3 points where we created higher highs, and in between those points we were creating higher lows. If I go ahead now and grab a trend line, what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to remove this path and we can drag a trend line in here from point A to point B. So how we mark up trend lines is we find our point A, which would be here, and then we find our point B here, and then we drag it into the future. So if I go ahead and remove both of them real quick and grab our trend line. So we have our point A and we have our point B. The main thing is we want to grab as many wicks as we can on point A and point B. As you can see, the liquidation pull or the size of the candlesticks aren't great. So we're going to go ahead and do what we can. So as you can see, there's another thing that we have to take into account. If I go ahead and zoom in for you, we can't overlap the body of a candlestick. So the closest we could go is here, and that catches the both candlesticks, but we can't go through a body. So you wouldn't be able to just drag a trend line, for example, like this, because you're going through the bodies of the candlesticks. It's the wicks that we're looking for. So as you can see, if we go into the future a little bit longer, a little bit more, as you can see, the tightest we can get down to that candlestick is there, and that also catches this 1, 2, and 3 wick, and then catches the 3, 4, and 5 wick here. So that's a valid trend line for us right now. As you can see, we have had these levels of support holding up price. Apologies, let me go zoom back in and let me go ahead and zoom back out. So as you can see, we've had our points. If I go ahead and get out of this full screen mode real quick and grab some eclipses. So we have our point A. I can go ahead and mark this in with some text just to give you guys a better representation of what I'm on about. If I go ahead and make this a little bit clearer. If I go ahead and put that in black and make it bigger, bold it. Cool. So we've got that there. That's our A. And then we're going to copy and paste that and change the letter, obviously, to our B candlestick. Sorry, our B trend line mark. If it's going to let me grab the side of this. Okay, bear with me, guys. I'm just going to have to do it like this, the old-fashioned way. So here we go. We have our B touch, and then we drag it into the future. So we have our A, B, and drag it into the future. And as you can see, we have got these marks here now where price is reacting to on this trend line, indicating to us that this is definitely a level that we want to take into consideration. And with the current price testing at this area as of right now. So that's what we're currently looking at in the market. So we have this trend line marked in. We are definitely seeing some bullish momentum. There's not really a point A or point B here, but we could potentially go for a point A, point B. We could grab our point A here and our point B here. Let's have a look what that would look like. We're going to go as close to the candle as we can and then drag it into the future. And that should be about there. Okay. And the reason why this candle, I'm going to have to change this is, as you can see, it goes through the body of a candlestick. So we're just going to have to make sure it's as close as we can get it, about there. So we catch 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 wicks there. So, and then obviously price came down to test that level there. So as you can see, we definitely do have a higher time frame bearish triangle, bullish triangle. If I go ahead and continue to mark this in, bang, and bang. So at some point, what we could potentially see is a, so with this bullish triangle, we could potentially see price continue all the way until it comes sort of to like a closing point where we see price sort of pinch in between, start consolidating, and then some major volume enter the markets. As you can see, the price, the time for that would be 12 o'clock next week on the Wednesday, on the 15th of Jan. So we could in turn potentially see a bullish continuation where price sort of tests between these trend line levels, touching our next point of interest, finding support of the 2675 level, breaking above, sort of beginning to create higher highs and higher lows before we sort of get a swish of volume, and then price sort of comes to around this area here and then either breaks through or breaks above. So that's a potential scenario that we could see happening this week. If I go ahead and go to our minute 15, it's the same sort of thing, just more detailed. You can see that the price has just created those higher highs and those higher lows. And at the moment, we are definitely in a bullish formation. If I go ahead and look at our hour 4 real quick, I know that now this green candlestick, this green triangle is getting in the way. So I'm just going to go ahead and delete that. And I'm also going to go ahead and delete these eclipses just so it gets out of the way a little bit. But there, as you can see, we are bullish as of right now for this hour 4 candlestick. We are finishing in approximately 20 minutes, and we could potentially see price break up above this level of around 2680. If we see price break into the 2700 range next week, obviously I'll go into more detail after this day's done. We definitely have the NFP news release happening today, which will inject and increase volume and volatility into the markets. So that's something obviously we want to look out for. But if we see this break of this level, most likely we'll see that bullish continuation. The most we'll see today, as it goes for bearish, is a bearish retracement, perhaps down 100 pips to around our 2670 level. We could have a further fall to 2663, but the most probable move as of right now, looking at the current formation and current candlestick moves that we can currently see, price will probably come to this level, break back down again, potentially come to test this 2675 as a support again, and before price breaks up even further. So that's definitely going to be near towards the end of the day. Obviously with an NFP release, I think we have positive news for gold. I think the jobs release is 146,000, correct me if I'm wrong, in comparison to the last NFP, which was 224,000. So economically for the US market, it is negative, which will in turn decrease the dollar's strength and increasing gold's price. So yeah, that's going to be our end of week technical analysis. I know I haven't gone into much detail, which I don't really want to. I want to try to keep these as short as possible now. But yeah, that's going to be that. Stay
stay tuned for our start of week technical analysis. I hope you lot have enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure if you got some profits and made some profits this week, which I'm sure you guys have, having a look into the VIP channel. Make sure to withdraw some for yourself and go and buy yourself something, go and treat yourself something, or treat one of your family members or friends or someone around you to something nice. But yeah, that's going to be me, Gold Signals. I hope you lot have enjoyed. Peace.